Africa needs a young man. Africa needs a young woman. Africa needs a young...
Greetings, welcome to Portraits of Hope once again. Everybody once in a while needs a glimmer of hope, an insight of something that reminds them of the possibilities of the great things to come. Today's guest is legendary, top of this world, top performer, top 35 under 35, though I doubt he's still under 35. Top 35 under 35 and a great leader in these streets, an author, musician, name it. And I can't wait to dive deep into the story of everything that made him. And I'm sure you're excited with me. Thank you for joining me and let's dive. Hi, how are you, Douglas?
I'm good. And you?
I'm very well. Good to see you again after 2 days.
Yeah.
After gracing our event and doing such an amazing job.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of introduction before we dig into your life.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Douglas Ogutu. The one when you send me money, you see. Famously known as VEMA. As Esther has alluded to, I am a musician and an author at the same time, and I love business. But I'm passionate about social positive change and sound leadership in the society, starting with Africa, because a lot of things go wrong because of bad leadership. And so all that I do is towards just trying to help one soul or the other to look the other way to good leadership. Yeah, I'm the founder of Dowe Music Arts, which is an academy of music and arts, as well as music production, artist management, and so forth. And recently, we just launched a new venture. We call it VEMA Empire, and that's now what has brought forth to the brand VEMA. And so you can check it out on the website www.vemaempire.com. Yeah, and a number of businesses that I also carry out. You also carry out.
Do you hear that amazing profile and what you should anticipate? Anyway, so Douglas, I think I kept seeing your music by virtue of the fact that we were all Yali alumni. So I kept interacting with your music, but I came to the reality of the awesomeness of your work when I came to your VEMA concert. And it was huge and it was massive, and I just saw the performer that you are. Is that like a usual contrast that you have in your personality, those extremes? Like in normal day, you're really calm, but then on stage, you're a totally different person. How does that happen?
Yeah, I also don't understand myself. So I tend to live in that duality.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't know if this is a dark joke or a dark humor joke, but behaviorally, I hate double standards.
Okay.
But just personality, I tend to have very contrasting personality.
Oh, really? Are you like that also?
Yeah.
Me too.
Because I don't know, when I'm on stage, it's just...
It's like another person.
Sometimes it's not even me. Mm-hmm. When I watch myself performing, I'm like, okay, who's that guy? And all that. So I think it's just that. And because now these are talents. Mm-hmm. So if it's a talent, or let's use the word gift, it means it's something that you are given. Yeah. So if you are given, then it means it's also finding another person on it. So the performing, the music is a talent or a gift that has been imparted on me. Yeah. But I'm also a person.
You're also a person on your own. So in under normal circumstances, people will be wondering, like they'd see you as a top performer and they probably want to interact with you, and then they come and then they realize, Douglas has no stories.
Sometimes they will be disappointed, and people will be like, okay, is this the guy you called to perform? Because maybe...
until you go to the...
until I go to the stage. So,
That's amazing. So what do you do anything? Like, I know many musicians, they say they do certain rituals, or they sit at the corner, they reflect, they do God knows what, so that they can get into their moment. What do you do before you get into the stage?
Before getting to the stage, I think it's more of the preparation before. Mm-hmm. Like I always say, my preparation is like you see on Saturday, you invited me to the event.
Yeah.
And so my preparation is usually before the event, even a day before the event.
Yeah.
So I'll be in my room and just take the guitar and songs will run. So I have to feel the event before I come.
You have to feel it.
I have to feel so that when I'm coming on the stage, it's just an overflow, right? So I don't have very special rituals, especially before the event.
No beating of drums and smoking fire.
Yeah, I'm just...
Yeah. So do you prepare for the same amount of time you would be on stage, or it's like, or, you know, like you do part of it?
More than the time I'll be on stage. I'll be on stage. Let's say if you're calling me for a 3 minutes performance, here is how the time comes into play, because first of all, I need time to check, okay, what's the theme of the... Okay, one thing about me, I don't just come to perform for entertainment.
Or it's purposeful.
If you look at my music, it's more of education and entertainment fused together. So when you call me for a performance, the first thing I need to ask is, what is the theme? What is Esther going to talk about? Or and who is coming? Are they children? Are they adults? Are they young people? And all that. So that now will inform what set list do I have. So I'll have, like, I put my songs on short list. And then I have to say, okay, number 4, you are not making it today. number 3, you're not making it today. So that now you see that's time. And then now I'll decide, okay, now let me pick this song and now start rehearsing. Now in the rehearsal, because the song I wrote, Esther was not in the picture, your event was not in the picture. Portraits of Hope was not in the picture. Now I have to customize the song into the event. So that, let's say I was singing a song and I've mentioned Chogoria. And then I look at the event that I'm coming, mentioning Chogoria won't make sense, right?
Yeah, it's off.
Yeah, so I have to find a way to fine-tune it and become versatile on stage so that we are able to relate. And I think now you see that should take more time.
It takes a lot of time,
preparation. So that when I'm just now coming, and I think it's something you have noticed, in the venue, I would want to be as calm as possible. I would want my peace as possible. Because in my head, I'm on stage.
Also, oh my gosh, that's what you do.
I'm on stage.
Amazing. Interesting.
So someone will be like, hey, isn't it social during the... But I'm performing. I'm performing.
So you have to see
I'm looking at
that you're going to experience.
There's a lady I've seen and she doesn't look like akona stress zake. So how do I get this lady on stage, right? There's another one who is hypey all over the place. How do I get them to calm down and even listen to the song?
To get the meaning out of it. And I think you did wonders. I don't know. I really appreciated what you did here for us on Saturday, because it was just going to be a normal, but having you perform, it really did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Did you always want to be a musician? Was it somewhere at the back of your head when you were a child, or at what point, at what age did you make that decision?
Yeah, that question has it has two facets. One of them is that I always knew I just knew I'm a singer.
You knew?
Okay. From a very young age.
Really?
Yeah, because I started singing in church, you know, when you grow up with grandma at that young age. And our parents then, especially the grandmas and grandpas, they were very strict on church. So they would be like, hey, it's Sunday, you need to go to church. And then when you go to church, the Sunday school teacher would always be like, hey, who is going to sing for us?
You would always be.
We used to call them Pambio. But it was interesting because back then in the village, singing was for girls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which village did you grow up in?
This one, they'll have to pay for me to disclose. I'll come to the show tomorrow.
But disclose too on Friday.
But it was, singing was like a feminine thing.
Oh.
It wasn't something like you stand up to sing. No. But then I've always wondered how I will just stand out and sing. Yeah, and so that's how, and I started now writing songs, I think in class 5 or something like that. Yeah, just copying the book of Psalms and
this.
yes.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
it was
writing.
calling you from an early age.
Exactly. But then Sasa, when you're growing up, you realize the background you're coming from. You realize that there are serious things to do in life. And music is not one of them. So your parents will be like, your parents will be like, hey, you need to study. And I'm a firstborn. So as a firstborn, you don't pick music.
Are you a firstborn?
Yeah. As a firstborn, you don't pick music or any form of art because you're not going to be a good example to your siblings and all that. So it was a bit tricky. Because your mother would be like, hey, you need to go. And when we were growing up, we were like, teaching is the best profession because you'll never lack a job. You'll always get a job. So that's how I ended up into teaching. But of course, that has to do with the grades because, you know, when we are kids, we always want to be a doctor, an engineer and all that. And then, so if you don't, maybe let's say you get the A, and you don't have the money, so you just have to settle for the closest.
Okay.
Yeah. But then at I think at campus, that's when now it started just being clear that yes, you're doing this course, but that's not where you're going. Yeah, you just do the course, and then now that's when I started now learning music professionally. Check books. While in university. I was actually, but this was just on the side on my own. I got the library because even the university I went to, there was no music lessons. So I have to look for books on my own.
You really did? You were looking for books?
Yes.
Music books?
Yeah, and start reading on your own and all that. So, and then now after campus, that's when now I just knew this is it. This is where I'm going.
Really? So did you ever get to teach? Did you ever get a classroom?
Yeah, on campus, luckily we had 2 teaching practice while in second year and also in third year. So I had that experience, and I think it's the teaching practice that told me for sure, for real, this is not
I know. Let me tell you, I thank God for internships because they made you aware that this is not what I wanted. Because if when I did internships, then I was like, it's not as exciting as I thought it would be. So what did you teach during your internship? Yeah,
I'm a Swahili and business studies teacher.
Wow.
Actually, I'm registered with TSC.
Wow. Yes. So you actually fell into your ally when you wrote the Swahili book.
Yeah, the thing is, while I was moving away from, let's say, the classroom teaching and all that, I always knew that education is very important. Sometimes why we feel that education sometimes is not important is because we have fixated our minds, like education must do what you felt you studied, so you must do that. But you see, and I will encourage anyone, if you have children, just make sure they at least make it to campus or higher form of education than just O levels and all that. It is very important to broaden your mind. So I always knew that I'll finish, but Swahili, because I love Swahili. Sana.
Unapenda Swahili.
Sana. Swahili and business studies, I was like, I need to use these skills. I need to use them. So I kept on now with writing and then with business. So my music is business. I don't do music for fame and all. No, it's business. It's business, and the only place that I'm usually lenient is my church. So for church I go because that's serving God and all that. But elsewhere, even if it's a pastor calling me from another church, we just talk business. It's just as simple as that.
How do they ask when you need to ask for cash? You're like, what is your budget?
Yeah.
Is that what you say?
Yeah. We just discuss, and of course, you are frank. You tell me that okay, I have no budget or something like that. I just want you to come and help me and all that. That's fine.
Yeah. But be honest.
But
don't
be honest.
Me.
Yeah. Don't.
After the performance, you're like Asante, nitakupost kwa YouTube.
We just communicate prior, and it helps a lot.
All right.
Yes,
amazing. Any regrets that you chose the latter path? Or have you ever had a moment of regret that you chose the latter over the other? Or what challenges did you face actually as you made that choice? I know it was a hard and difficult choice, but what was that like? How did that look like?
I think, regret normally is mostly focusing on the past. So I don't know the opposite in terms of future tense for regret. But the thing is, I live with this question. Like I ask God, okay, Lord, so how long am I going to do the groundwork and the fruits of the labor? Because it's a lot of work. Sitting down and crafting your own path as a career in a society where art is just like a by the way. Do you know Africa is very rich? We are so rich in art, but the failure to monetize it, that's why we are still poor. That's why we're still where we are. But so for me, I live with that question, like, okay, how long? I've invested a lot in this. So there's always the lingering question, is this a poor, there's those investments where you say this is a bad investment and all that. So there's usually that question. But you see, the flip side is even education in yourself. How many years do you invest in education? Right from the time you were born. You spend more than 16 years, even for a doctor and all that. And so I'm always like, oh, that's cool, because I started this while I was in campus. So it means cumulatively after some time. And it's good to brag, isn't it? I must say that.
Yes, you should.
Because to reach a level where maybe you have known me and you said, oh, there's a guy I need to call. And because you have realized, oh, there's art. You see, now that it's answering those questions.
Yes, it's answering the questions.
So you have invested in this, and of course, it's time. Because you wouldn't have called me, let's say, 5 years ago, 8 years ago when I was starting, because you didn't know me, you didn't believe, or you didn't have the platform to believe in what I've done. But you see now, consistently investing, someone somewhere is saying something that you are doing.
That's amazing. There's a friend of mine who kept talking about 10 years for that 1 year that makes a difference. And I think it's a journey for the artist. It's a journey for entrepreneurs. And even reading Barack Obama's story, he was also saying the same, that he reached a point and he wondered whether he should have gone for, should he have just been conventional like everyone else, or was it worth it? But I think the greater regret is to never have tried it. The people who look back and they didn't risk on the things that they really wanted to do, I think that's usually the greater regret. So now, 4 books in. 4 books in. And how many albums?
Album-wise, I think there are 3. And what you don't know, I also do hip-hop, okay?
You do hip-hop? Maybe hip-hop is what you're going to do for us on this set.
Okay.
Yeah, we need a preview.
I didn't have a meme of that. But yeah, I've 2 albums, hip-hop, and then 1 album for singing. And then we have several singles in singing. And so, yeah, and I thank God for that. Because sometimes I usually go and, the way you just on internet and you come across your own song and you're like, okay, when did this happen? Because the other thing is when I was starting out, you see now I break away from the conventional path. So you'll always have the imposter syndrome. Really, am I good enough? And so when you even release stuff.
You hide it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm even surprised that I'm doing this the book launch, because I rarely like launch my things. For me, I just release and tell people, hey guys, it's out there, you can. So maybe it's a journey towards me becoming the success that I'm dreaming of. I don't know. Yeah, the question that I told you, I'm always asking. Maybe it's coming to get the answers. Yeah.
I think it is, and I think, just to assure you, I think we go through that. All of us. It's like you secretly post something and hope one person sees it. It's. There's one time I was interviewing Catherine Kasavuli, and she said she was, when she got the presidential award, she was surprised that someone was watching. And I was like, what do you mean? You're Catherine Kasavuli, everyone knew her, you know, and even her, she had that question, you know, so I see you and I think you're amazing. I'm your number one fan, so I know you are definitely on the right track. So tell us about this, your fourth book, Lead Like the Ants. This is what we are really looking forward to. Tell us about it. Yeah,
Lead Like the Ants is something that cumulatively, of course, it's all the years, but it has taken, it's a project that started last year in January. Initially,
January.
Yeah, initially the thought was I was going to co-write with someone, but of course, I think it wasn't just the right time for them. So, you know, when people get busy and all that,
they're back and forth.
Yeah. So we just said, okay, no, we hadn't even decided what angle are we going to take and all that. So, and it's a whole book on, when you read it, you can get a summary of my journey as a leader. And I have been involved in quite a number of leadership forums. Of course, the most prominent one is YALI, the Regional Leadership Center, where you guys have been leading us so well. And then Mandela Washington, then we have the others, Emerging Leaders Foundation, Oaks and Crown, Ubuntu, and name it. So all those platforms, they are things I've observed.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, can I put these ideas into a book where young people can read? As I face out the, you know, UN says up to 35, you are a youth. Above that. So this is a gift.
Push it to 40.
Yeah, we need to.
We should.
But this is a gift to young people. And especially if you are looking forward to lead. But again, when you read the book, you realize you are a leader wherever you are. Yeah, it's not the office that makes you the leader. Office just helps communication, so that we know who to talk to after what and what. But if you are a cobbler and you're doing your job very well,
you are a leader.
You are a leader. You are a leader. Because, and I've given that example in this book, if you're walking in town, and especially for ladies, this is no pun intended, but most of the time you find maybe you're walking in town and then your heel goes off. What happens? The first thing you want to do, if you don't have a spare, you want to see a cobbler somewhere, right? You will not start mending your shoe in town, Esther.
Yeah.
So who are you looking for? It's a leader you are leading. Because if he doesn't fix you, then you are in trouble, right? So that the thing is, in the society, we have those ranks. They are good for communication, but the mistake that we have done for us, and especially for political views and all that, we give them the responsibility for leading and we delegate everything to them. And that's the mistake. That's the mistake. But if we realized that we are leaders in our own respective way, but of course with respect. And I'm glad Kenya is maybe leading a way. It's only that sometimes we go overboard. So that's what this book is about. To challenge you, a young person,
into your leadership.
That you are a leader wherever you are.
All right. Someone's asking me if I'm going for your event.
Okay.
And let me just tell them yes. Leadership. So where do you derive your leadership, mentorship from? And whose philosophy really inspires your leadership journey?
Okay, I think that question has, again, different facets there. Most of the time, I don't really have who.
Yeah.
But of course, there's a guy called Socrates, very ancient.
Deep thinkers.
Philosopher. So but of course he was killed for it. I hope I will not be killed.
Too much wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he reasons is by assuming the fool's chair. He takes the fool's seat. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, the much that I know is that I don't know.
I love that so much.
And so he would just go on the streets and ask people questions. But now when he went to the authorities, people in authority usually don't like questions. So he doesn't like questions. So he inspires. I started reading about him. I was very young. And then, of course, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Again, Jesus was also killed because of asserting things that they thought he doesn't know and asking questions that would be very hard. So I like asking questions. And that's why you find in this book, there are questions after every chapter. Questions after every chapter. Because I could tell you a story and you would forget. But I could ask you a question and you might ignore now, but the question will sit with you every day. And until you answer that question, you will not rest.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I think we don't ask enough questions, actually.
Yeah.
Everyone is speaking from a point as if we already know. And so when you meet people who are honest enough to say, I don't know, and so then every opportunity to engage with another human being is an opportunity to learn. It's really amazing. Yeah.
And now the other thing, like for this book, you asked who inspires me. For me, it's the ants.
The ants.
Yeah, I came across that verse in the Bible that says, go to the ant, you sluggard or lazy person. Consider her ways and be wise. It has no captain, overseer, or ruler. It provides the supplies in summer and gathers the food in the harvest. And so I don't know how, but in January last year when I was just thinking, I kept remembering my childhood. And in childhood, we used to have those ant hills all over the place. So then I started now going back, flashbacks, how we used to behave with the ant hills, how we will destroy them. But then now as an adult, as I was looking, I remember the picture.
Yeah.
The ant hill, it's not just a mass. You know, as a normal person, as an average person, you just see a mass. But that thing has corridors inside.
Imagine.
Who created those corridors? It's the ants. And those corridors are not just there.
It's quite artistic.
They are offices.
Yeah.
There are particular ants that don't enter certain corridors. So that kind of wisdom, I was like, but these things, I thought human beings, we are the highest forms.
Then you realize.
Like very small things and they just build something. They have a system of governance.
Amazing. You're quite philosophical. What is the greatest question you've ever asked?
The greatest question is, I just need, will I be able to have done all I need to do?
All that you came for?
Yes, when it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very deep.
Yeah, that's the question that keeps me saying, like, I think we don't have just the luxury of time to waste. And when I say that, people will be like, oh, he doesn't like, no, I can be fun around. But the thing is, even in the fun and all that, I watch funny movies, comedies and all that.
Do you?
I do. We just agreed that I have very interesting, contrasting personality. So,
Yes.
yeah, so I do. But even when I do, whatever I'm doing there should be contributing in a way to what I need to do. And I always rise with Miles Monroe when he was saying, like, he wants to die empty. Like, there's no need of making the grave rich.
That is so powerful. That's so powerful.
Yeah.
And I think he did actually.
Yeah.
He gave all that he could. Yeah. And it's so you're such a firstborn though. I am too as well.
Oh,
So
interesting. Yeah.
we take life so seriously.
Very
and we
seriously.
could go deep throughout this, but
Yeah.
grateful. I think we are looking forward to. I am personally, I'm really excited to joining you for the concert, and you've shared a lot of insights about the book.
Yeah.
What do you look forward to? Like, what legacy do you want to leave behind? Like you talked about, you want to leave and go empty. Like, what is the legacy when you look back? You'll say, oh, I did this and I did this, and this is my mark here on earth. Even as we close.
Yeah. Speaking of the legacy, well, first of all, I don't really consider myself as too informed and all that, but I just want someone to do better. So if I can influence even just one person to do better, that would be cool. So whether you get it through my book, get it through my music, get it through my public speaking and all that. Because the first story that I wrote, the one that is in high school, Toba Kalia, I wrote it and I think I was very young. But I read the story and I'm like, okay, where was this depth? Like, ilikuwa wapi? Like, yeah, and sometimes I don't even understand because the story is too deep. And most of the time when I meet people, they're like, and especially teachers, while we were studying with them, they were like, Bwana, you were just in campus, just there. How? Some of them will still, up to now, will not believe that that story is mine. But you see, from a young age, I hate corruption. I hate bad leadership. If you're in a position of leadership and you're misusing resources, you're taking advantage of the people. That's really bad. It's really bad. So if I can just turn one person, help them to see and do better, that would be great.
That is such a powerful legacy. And I'm so happy. I know, I can't believe we didn't mention that. You actually have a set book in high school that people are reading over Kenya, all over Kenya.
Yes, yes.
I mean, honestly, I can't believe you didn't even start with that in the introduction. That's amazing. That is so powerful. Thank you so much, Douglas. I think our parting and last shot would be, if you're talking to a young person, you or yourself at age 18, and they're at a crossroads on the decision to either go for their dreams or not, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I will start with saying that, motivational speakers will say, go for it, go for it. But I would say you count the cost and count the returns. And when you're counting the returns, can we put aside the monetary value first? And if you maybe are afraid that maybe the goal, or rather your dream, what you want to go for, is not really monetary enough, maybe you can look for a side hustle, but do not live a life where you are not living your purpose. It is miserable. And trust me, a lot of people on their deathbed, look around, there are people who are on the deathbed, they have tears flowing. They are not crying because they are going. They are crying because I wish I did this.
That is so powerful. I know, right? I think it's a sad affair to know you had dreams and you just didn't make time for them.
Yeah.
Because I think what Douglas you're saying is be smart, but make time for the dreams that cause you to never sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I think as entrepreneurs here, we've really done that. We've risked it and we've done it, and we can't say we will regret. But so I think you should give us a number.
Okay.
Before we we really go and close, yeah?
Make sure you come to the concert. It's on Friday, Maktaba Kuu KNLS from 1 p.m. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of music, trust me. A lot of good music. Oh, you were in the concert, the VEMA concert.
I was in the VEMA concert,
2023.
Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, okay,
amazing
okay.
concert.
Yeah, so there's
this
more
will
music.
even be bigger.
Yeah, more music, more music.
All right.
So because we are talking about leadership, so we'll also have a set on leadership. This song talks about leadership. It says, say no to poor leadership. Africa needs a young man. Africa needs a young woman. Africa needs a young man. Africa needs a young woman. One who will say no to sin. One who will not be afraid. One who will say na 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 sin. One who will not be afraid of revolution. Enough is enough to corruption. Enough is enough to segregation. Enough is enough to violations. Enough is enough to land grabbing. Enough is enough to corruption. Enough is enough to segregation. Enough is enough to violations. Enough is enough to land grabbing. Say no to poor leadership. Say no to bad governance. Say no to poor leadership. Say no to bad governance. Yes, say no to poor leadership. Say no to bad governance. Yeah, no to poor leadership. Say no to bad governance. Come on, we say no to poor leadership. Say no to bad governance. Come on, say with me, no to poor leadership. Say no to bad governance. Now you have the lyrics. Don't come to the show without singing.
Yeah. Thank
right.
you so much, Douglas. Greatly honored. This place is graced. Everybody's smiling here. And I know we are looking forward to a very good time on Friday and hope to see you there. You have been watching the Portraits of Hope with Douglas Ogutu, also known as VEMA. And I'm your host, Esther Nema. And thank you always for joining us.